Previously on the Rod Pedersen Show.
To examine expansion, the Maritimes has long been mentioned as a potential expansion site. A sports update for Edo, Japan. With more than 160 restaurants nationwide, Edo, Japan is proud to be Canadian-owned and operated for more than 40 years. We have a live studio audience here at Grey Eagle Stage Bar because it is a Football Friday. And let's jump into it. I mentioned I had a dream, and I literally had a dream. The Rough Riders are going to win Touchdown Atlantic. So if you want to bet on that, go do it. My dreams are very rarely wrong, Lee. But here's the thing about Ambrosi saying this. I read the story, okay? And he said, we commissioned a study, and the results came back overwhelmingly positive to add a 10th team for a myriad of reasons. I'm like, what? Wow! You could have asked me. I'd have told you that. And it would have saved you a lot of money. And then the mayor, and by the way, Justin Dunk coming up next segment, he's got an interview with the mayor of Halifax. He goes, yeah, the stadium's dead. Yeah, it's dead.
Maybe
what are we doing here?
Hey, because it's always good to talk expansion. I think they need something good to talk about.
Randy Ambrosi, meet Toby Keith. The song, A Little Less Talk and a Lot More Action.
Get ready for the Rod Pedersen Show.
On the eve of Touchdown Atlantic, it seems like the Schooner deal is dead.
And it's sad to say, right? This should be a celebration, and I still think the city is excited to have Touchdown Atlantic here. Savage said to me that they didn't invite Touchdown Atlantic to be here, and we need the key truth speakers in this instance to show us where the potential of expansion really is right now, and that's probably not happening in Halifax.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Hello, all you beautiful people. Welcome to the RP Show on a brand new week. It is episode number 801 of your favorite daytime sports and entertainment talk show. We're coming to you live from Grey Eagle Resort and Casino, the Stage Bar. This begins our 16th week of residency here at Calgary's entertainment destination. And but what hasn't changed is we're going to have a lot of fun coming up on the program today. In hour one, the owner of the CFL's Montreal Alouettes, Gary Stern, is going to join us. It's not very often you get an owner of a pro team on. That'll be the case today with Gary Stern. And in hour two, the radio voice of the Colorado Avalanche, the Stanley Cup champion Colorado Avalanche, Marc Moser. That's coming up in hour two. But we welcome from the NHL's Bermuda Triangle, Darren Moose Dupont. And how lucky are we, Moose? Yes, great hair. That the Bermuda Triangle is situated right in between three NHL markets, Winnipeg, Edmonton, and Calgary. And we're going to be hearing about two of those teams coming up here shortly. But before I get into the preamble of what I'm going to talk about, I would say, how was your weekend? Because our guy Lee Genier, our COO, said we need to bring back the weekend photo album, man, because our weekends are so great. We got to tell the world. But as of now, we don't have it. So tell us, what are the verbal snapshots of your weekend?
A lot of time, Rod, spent out on the deck, a lot of time in the sun. I spent a lot of time drinking coffee, as you know. We spent some time on the phone. And then when I wasn't out battling the heat, I was inside battling the AC. And I don't know if you caught on to this, but the new season of Animal Kingdom, or the latest one, is up on Netflix now. So I'm jumping into that.
Good for you. I've heard. I haven't checked it out yet because I was busy all weekend. And I'll put up a disclaimer right now. I've been fighting off a cold since late last week, so I'm a little under the weather today. It's not COVID, okay? It's not COVID. I checked. But as soon as this show's over, I'm going to be crawling under the covers. But you know what? I'm not hurting. I'm not hurting like a lot of people around here. I'll tell you that. I don't know. Calgarians, Albertans, salute to you. How you went 10 straight days, balls to the wall. In my heyday, I couldn't have kept up with what it takes, the Constitution, to party at this Calgary Stampede, man. Like yesterday was the championship Sunday, and it was intense, immense, But basically, Moser was 3 rodeos in one, like back to back to back. I'm like, we're still going? But you get how Cowboys would love it. I said it's Disneyland for Cowboys, but it, full disclosure, I had to tell some people at the rodeo yesterday, I could have been a cowboy. I didn't want to. The animals scared me, and I don't like to get dirty. So that precludes you from being a cowboy. I enjoyed the Centennial Cup at Estevan where we could watch 3 hockey games in a day, back to back to back. But that's, different strokes for different folks. That's my happy place. I enjoyed this, but I'm like, holy smokes, man, what a marathon. And by the way, it leads me into the poll question, Dave. This is where I want to start. For Capital Automall Universal Collision Center, I saw a guy wearing a Flames ball cap that said 2022 Pacific Division Champs. And I'm like, buddy, that looks like a hat you got made at an embroidery shop. I haven't seen anybody else wearing those hats. I didn't even know they were on sale unless they handed them out to season ticket holders or something like that. And I'm like, well, Calgary is coming back as the Pacific Division champions. They will raise a banner this fall in the Saddle Dome. So, listen, as Canada, we're never really that far from a hockey player or hockey season. So my poll question today is, who is Canada's best NHL team as we sit here today, July 18th, 2022? The top 3 in alphabetical order, I came up with the Calgary Flames, the Edmonton Oilers, the Toronto Maple Leafs, or other. And Edmonton's leading the poll. We've had it up for like an hour. Edmonton's running away with it. And I don't think, Darren, but you're the resident Leafs fan. You and producer Clark, would you vote for the Leafs as Canada's best NHL team?
Probably still. I think even you look at last year, even if, Edmonton won a round, I think, based on the 2 teams, maybe. But it's so razor thin and so close. I think there's 2 big shocks for me. One is Calgary has moved from number 1 down to number 3. And when you look at the group of others, the team out of anybody over Toronto, over Calgary, over Edmonton, that's made the biggest strides is Ottawa. They've had the biggest growth, not enough to be in the top 3, though.
Well, you say Calgary slipped to 3rd. They might have slipped to 4th because I was talking to Serena about it this morning, and she said Ottawa is the top 3. And I said, I'm in Calgary. I can't not have the Flames in the top 3, right? I won't make it out of here alive. So I'm not sure. But that's why I say it's July 18th. There's still some signings to come. And I've got the NHL. The Flames lost another key guy here over the weekend in free agency. So can you hit the Quick Six show horn, Director Jordan? And that'll give you a bit of an idea where we're going in the Quick Six show topics here, because we got a lot of CFL. If you haven't noticed yet, I like to save segment 2 in the summertime for mostly CFL. It's a good 15-minute segment where we can get into more deeply than we do with the rest of these topics. Like, for instance, the Toronto Blue Jays, number 1, who won their 50th game of the season Sunday, beating Kansas City 4-2, are sending 5 players to the All-Star game, while a 6th has decided to stay home. Heading to L.A. for Tuesday's game are pitchers Alek Manoah and Jordan Romano, catcher Alejandro Kirk, first baseman Vladimir Guerrero Jr., second baseman Santiago Espinal, and, of course, staying home is outfielder George Springer, resting his sore elbow. 6 All-Stars. And you wonder why they fired Charlie Montoyo, because they can't get it together. 6 All-Stars, Moose. And the question usually habitually, this is our 4th year of this show, we would have said, will you be watching the Home Run Derby tonight? That normally would be the poll question. And I know for a fact I didn't watch it last year. I might tonight. You?
Yeah, I love the Home Run Derby. Love it. I think it's so much fun. And this is where you really build the brands of the players, because you get to see their families, sometimes their kids. You get some more personality coming out. I think it's awesome. And it was always my favorite event, and it is again.
And their helmets are off. You get a good look at them. I remember last year not watching and thinking, I wish I had, once I saw the highlights. So that's why I think I'm going to watch it tonight. Point 2, the Toronto Blue Jays selected 18-year-old Brandon Barreria of Hollywood, Florida on Sunday with their first pick, 23rd overall in Major League Baseball's first-year player draft. The 6'2", 180-pound Barreria is a left-handed pitcher who plays varsity ball at American Heritage School in Plantation, Florida. Point 3, Cameron Smith is the British Open champion. Not many saw coming. The Australian and his magical putter stormed from behind at St. Andrews to overcome Rory McIlroy and win his first major. Smith made 5 straight birdies to start the back 9, and he finished with 2 putts from 80 feet for birdie and a 64. It's the lowest final round ever by a winner at St. Andrews. American Cameron Young finished second. You said you watched some of the British Open.
Yeah, and, it was disappointing for Rory, who finished in third. He had the lead going in after 54 holes, and he just couldn't get it together. He didn't play bad, but he just didn't make anything. And I think, when we look at the fan base, I think largely was disappointed because I think the rooting interest was with Rory. He's kind of the people's hero right now in this PGA versus Live Golf kind of dispute. Probably the best player on the PGA Tour still.
My mind keeps flashing back to Sunday. I met some owners of a vodka distillers company, and they had asked about our show. They'd heard about it, and I told them what we're doing, and we're over here on Game Plus TV, a specialty channel, plus live streaming. And they said, you guys are like the Live Golf of TV. You're over there doing your own thing.
How about that?
You've ignored the huge networks, per se, based on viewership it is, and you're doing your own thing over there and thriving. I'm like, bingo, minus the $120 million U.S. check that Phil got from the Saudi government. Moving on.
We're not backed by the Saudis.
Right. Not at all. This portion of the warm-up brought to you by Edo Japan. Delicious Japanese-inspired meals and snacks made to order with high-quality ingredients. Edo Japan. By the way, speaking of vodka distilleries, I learned last week, really early on, I'm too old for the majority of Calgary Stampede. Like these parties and the tents. You saw the videos, I'm like, I'm way too old for that. So people said, where do the older people go for Stampede? I'm like, the rodeo. So on Sunday, when I was trying to avoid the madness, because my brother, the cowboy, said, it's a free-for-all, by the way. Just be prepared when you go in there. It's a free-for-all. I'm like, I'll be hanging out with the old people in the luxury suites. They were high school drunk. The old people. Like, I think I was the only one out of 17,000 people not drinking, which incidentally...
Oh, no.
Which incidentally, I'm not judging anybody. That had been me years ago. So I'll plan it out a little more, but it was a party. And with the people that I was with, I'm like, the rodeo's out here. Why are you guys over here? You're not even watching the rodeo. You get it, right? Point 4, CFL Week 6 wrap. Here's what happened in the Canadian Football League. The Edmonton Elks went into Montreal and stunned the Alouettes 32-31. The owner of the Alouettes, Gary Stern, is going to be with us later on in hour 1. And then Friday Night Football. I didn't see a snap of it. I was doing something else. I can't remember. Winnipeg Blue Bombers beat Calgary 26-19. I saw the headline at 3downnation.com that said, Stampeders receivers let down Bo Levi Mitchell in this game. So the Bombers are 6-0. I think it's their best start in 40 or 50 years, Winnipeg. We touchdown Atlantic. We're going to have to get into that. The Argos beating Saskatchewan 30-24. All anybody's talking about, I'm just seeing it today on social media, is the rider. The national media is saying this. The rider receiver Duke Williams, who in warm-up when the refs weren't even on the field, threw Shaquille Richardson's helmet at him, the Argos player. The Argos allege that he spit on him twice. This is before the game. And the Riders lost it. Now, Cody Fajardo, their quarterback, finished the game, but we all saw the ugly knee injury that he went down on. We watched the game at Deerfoot Meadows Shark Club. It was entertaining enough game, but man, Darren, it was volatile. Would you not say that game was volatile? And, there are people out there that loved Touchdown Atlantic and saying we need a team. There are others going, this is not a very good look for the CFL with what was people spitting on each other in pregame fights. What is football to me, I don't know, but what was your take coming out of the Touchdown Atlantic?
Yeah, I thought at the end of the day, it all came together pretty well. I mean, yeah, it wasn't a big stadium. There wasn't a ton of people, but it was packed. And I thought the atmosphere looked really good. I thought the product came across really well. And yeah, despite, I don't know what you want to call it, the spitting and the ugly incidents of helmet throwing and players getting upset, that doesn't bother me as much. I know it's a family thing, but that creates some drama and some excitement. So I'm not totally against that, but I thought it was okay. The game had its drama as well, came right down to the end. So what more could you ask for to try and engage a fan base?
We go into the week awaiting two things. One, discipline for Duke Williams, the Saskatchewan receiver, for throwing a player's helmet. I mean, he shouldn't have even played in the game, but the refs weren't on the field at that time in warm-up. I understand why he did play. I guess you can't overrule the rule book on the go, although I have seen it before. And we also await word on the status of Saskatchewan quarterback Cody Fajardo, which everybody seems to be turning on now. Everybody turning against him, even Rider fans and Rider alum that know the game far better than me, pointing out that he's not perfect. And I'm like, okay, well, all I know is he wins. I think I wrote down his record here. 26-12 is his record as a starter in Saskatchewan. But I'm not going to... Cody will have to fight his battle on that. And so I've got more thoughts. We'll push those into the next segment on all of the CFL stuff as we continue here in the warm-up. And I don't necessarily feel a Raj rant coming, but maybe we will. This portion of the warm-up in our NHL coverage and Raj rant brought to you by Bronco Plumbing, Heating and Cooling. Tell Camco over there, Bronco, we're talking about them now, guys, because they all watch the show every day, their staff. To schedule maintenance or to learn more about our services, call 306-781-2090 or visit us at broncoplumbing.com. Point 5, Montreal Canadiens GM Kent Hughes has brought defenseman Mike Matheson back to his roots, acquiring the 28-year-old defenseman from Pointe Claire, Quebec, and a conditional fourth-round pick from Pittsburgh over the weekend for longtime Canadiens defenseman Jeff Petrie and forward Ryan Poling. The trade ends a 7-plus season tenure for Petrie in Montreal. He originally came from the Oilers back on March 2nd, 2015. Petrie had said at the end of the season that this season had been difficult because his family stayed behind in the United States while he remained with the Habs. So Petrie's a Pittsburgh Penguin now as the Penguins rework their blue line. In Edmonton, the Oilers have signed forward Matthias Janmark to a one-year, $1.25 million deal. The 6'1", 205-pound Janmark played 67 games with the Golden Knights last season, had 25 points. He's a good player. And I guess Vegas wasn't offering him what the Oilers were or whatever. He wants to go to Edmonton. Apparently Canada's top NHL team, Matthias Janmark, is an Edmonton Oiler. The Maple Leafs have signed forward Calle Jarnkrok to a 4-year contract with an average annual value of $2.1 million. Calle Jarnkrok split last year between Seattle and Calgary and had 30 points in 66 games. He was a good player. When you watch the Flames, he was a very tough guy to take your eye off of. Calle Jarnkrok, so he's left Calgary for Toronto. By the way, hockey fans, grab your sunglasses. The World Juniors are back in Edmonton this summer, August 9th to the 20th. Single game tickets are on sale now for as low as $40. You can purchase them at hockeycanada.ca. On Friday, we awarded a pair of tickets to Donna Berger and Ryan Bogdan. They are going to the World Juniors. Darren said that Donna's already talked with her. She's excited to go, and they get to pick their game. So we'll be playing our contest all week long and awarding 2 more sets of tickets Friday to the game of your choice to the World Juniors next month in Edmonton, where we'll be broadcasting live. And lastly, Christopher Bell crashed the NASCAR playoffs, winning at New Hampshire Motor Speedway to become the 14th Cup Series winner this season. Bell mastered the track where he won Xfinity Series races in 2018, 2019, and 2021, holding off Chase Elliott, last week's winner at Atlanta Motor Speedway. So, those are our quick 6. When we come back, we'll bring in the viewers and get your take on everything in sports. You're watching the RP Show live from Grey Eagle Resort and Casino on the Game Plus TV network. We're also live streaming on YouTube. And you can always catch the podcast wherever the best podcasts are found, including Amazon, Google, Apple, Stitcher, and Spotify.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. The summer of hockey in Alberta continues, and the future of Team Canada is bright. The 2022 World Juniors return to Edmonton August 9th to 20th. Single game tickets available from $40. Buy now at hockeycanada.ca.
Are you ready? It's finally time for your next adventure, and it starts at Capital Ford. Custom order the perfect new vehicle for you, or reserve one of the hundreds that's already built and on its way. Can't wait? Get into a pre-owned vehicle that's already on the lot and ready to rock. Plus, the American Export event is back and bigger than ever. We'll send your vehicle south, making you the most money for your trade. Guaranteed. Oh, and for a limited time, all name brand tires are employee priced. Only at Capital Ford Lincoln. Your adventure starts here.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Number 60, a legend throws 713 yards in a single pro football game.
A legend wins 3 Grey Cup MVP awards.
Allen looking deep. A legend scores 1,209 points in 1,127 NHL games. Play among legends at betregal.net.
Some of the challenges we face with the CT technology that we have today is some of the deficiencies in around integration with some of our other systems. The addition of 2 new 4D simulators within the programming of the Saskatchewan Cancer Agency is going to have significant impact on the care we provide to the people of Saskatchewan.
Grey Eagle Resort and Casino.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
A little bit of a cloud cover here in the foothills as we open a brand new week with episode number 801 of your favorite daytime sports and entertainment talk show live from Grey Eagle Resort and Casino, Calgary's entertainment destination. We got a lot of viewers here from Winnipeg today as we bring the Moose back in, and I promise I will get to everybody's comment. But as I said off the top, it is Canada. Hockey is number one. Randy from the Peg writes in and says, big moves by Chevy so far. He's talking about general manager Kevin Cheveldayoff. A brutal backup goalie and a D-man who will never play. Looks like Hellebuck's playing 65 games again. I had to go back and look because last week, even Friday, seems like forever ago, and the Jets signing David Riddick. Remember when they called him when he played for the Flames, Big Save Dave? And then he went to, where'd he go? Nashville, and it became Make a Save,
Toronto.
Dave. Yeah, he was in Toronto for a while, too. $900,000 US one-year deal for Big Save David Riddick in Winnipeg. And it's kind of sad because last year, at this time, we were in Winnipeg, if you remember, the World Junior Lacrosse Championship, and they were so excited in Winnipeg. They were so excited with the prospects of the Jets, and just talk about... The roof caved in like a wet paper box. Hey, coach quits. They missed the playoffs, and they're almost on the bit of a rebuild here. They're deciding whether they should or not. Jack Fulton in Vulcan, Alberta. Rod, how about 18-year-old Rocker Steiner, 2022 $50,000 bareback champion? Amazing young man who was great for the sport. The exciting thing about being in the GMC Stadium yesterday was cheering for the locals. I was cheering for Dakota Butter. Saskatchewan bull rider from Etonia, Saskatchewan. He split the $50,000 with another guy in the event. But then the hometown Ponoka-Lacombe barrel racers, place going nuts. It was very exciting. But let's jump into the CFL stuff. Here's Tristan. Remember Tristan? Hey, Roddy, it's me, Tristan. How are you doing today? How's Calgary? Calgary is mucho bueno. We're loving it. Wayne in Victoria, BC says the national media are not fans of the Riders. I'm not going to apologize for being a fan of the Riders. Wayne, nobody asked you to. What did I say last week, Darren? If Charles Manson wore green and white, there's a certain amount of people that would cheer for him. And our COO, Lee, he's like, I don't think you should say that. I'm like, well, why not? It's true. No matter what, they're not going to look at what Duke Williams said and say it was bad, nor what Garrett Marino didn't say. And then that's the kind of loyalty you can't buy. I think we all know what the problem is with the Rough Riders. Nobody wants to say it, and that's fine. But, yeah, and they're talking about the racist comments and the fun. I'm not getting into all of that, but the discipline issue is what a lot of people are talking about. And Darren, you're football first. You've said that before. How do you feel about back-to-back weeks where Saskatchewan's had players that are under the microscope for lack of discipline?
Yeah, it's becoming an issue. And I don't know, everybody wants to point the finger somewhere. I'm not sure exactly where you can point it or where you should point it. But it's got to be addressed. I mean, we keep talking about the penalties. They're averaging, it seems like, over 10 penalties a week for over 125 yards. And, they'll say, well, Toronto actually had more. You said it in your column. It's not a contest. They were both bad, right? You can't take those kind of penalties. And then, obviously the stuff before the game is bad too. So we're waiting here to see what the league's going to do with Duke Williams, and if there's, I'm assuming, a fine, potentially a suspension. I mean, if he's accused of spitting twice, if it happened and it was proven to be true, if it's on video, if they've got some evidence and they determine that he did, he's probably going to get suspended. And it's not a good look right now for the organization.
No, I can't remember who it was this morning on Twitter. You know what it's like. You forget. You see, there's so much stuff being pushed in your face from the media these days, social media and mainstream media, that you forget who said what. And just this morning they said the Players Association is going to be busy. Do they defend Duke Williams or not? I mean, you can't throw a helmet. I mean, I haven't officiated football. I think you have. What are you going to do if the refs aren't on the field? Even though it was caught on video, you can't unilaterally say, oh, he can't play because we caught on video him doing this. Can you?
I don't know what they can and can't do. I mean, the idea of supplemental discipline is to take care of things that weren't handled on the ice or on the field of play, right? So if there's, and when more discipline is warranted. So with this situation of the helmet throwing and the spitting, it wasn't handled at all because it was missed. So supplemental discipline can come in here and hand out some punishment. When there's a really bad play in hockey, a check from behind, and the refs give out 2 minutes and they get it wrong, supplemental discipline can suspend them for a game because it should have been 5 in a game, right? Same thing in this situation. So I would expect something to come down.
Andrew Stout in the chat, he says, I will say it. I think the issue with the Riders is the coach. The Barfly says discipline is a joke, and it will only get worse if they don't start to control this garbage. I think it goes higher than the coach. Where does it rot from? The head. The fish rots from the head. I don't think it's the head coach. It's example. Jack points out Kahari Jones is a football operations consultant for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. What's that sound? Was there a sound effect just there? Or did a street sweeper just go by here? Okay. No, it must be. Well, there's. It's like they're doing construction around here in the stage bar as we do the show today, which is totally fine. I can handle it. But I just heard something in my ear. I couldn't remember where, or didn't know where it came from. But anyways, Kahari Jones, what is it? 10 days after being fired as head coach of the Montreal Alouettes, has been named a football operations consultant of the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Did you just hear that?
That might be outside.
Coming from you. Okay.
It might be.
Mike Horgan writes in and says, good afternoon, RP show and awesome viewers. Argos. Jack is the second guy, by the way, who writes in and says, or second guy who's told me this. Last season, Duke Williams was caught on film spitting on Sean Lemon. Apparently that came in the playoffs. Somebody texted me that over the weekend, that Duke Williams had spit on Sean Lemon before or after the playoff game. And I'm like, I forgot about that. So maybe Duke Williams has a problem with spitting on people. I mean, overall, if we want to sit and really talk about this, these Rider fans that say, oh, I'm not going to apologize for being a Rider fan. Nobody asked you to. But do you condone the actions of these players? Does that go hand in hand with being a fan? I don't know. I don't know. But as you said earlier, it doesn't look good. I mean, how do you begin to corral this matter?
You look at, from a coaching perspective, the Bill Belichick's of the world, the real hard-nosed coaches, the tough coaches. You look at the John Tortorellas and Scotty Bowmans and guys like that. They would rule with an iron fist, and they would be handing out internal punishments and, running guys up and down the field and things like that for taking penalties. Well, in today's world, you really can't do that because the PA is going to step in and say, you can't be abusing the players. You can't be making them do wind sprints and doing all these extra things and punishing them for taking penalties on the field. So in this kind of world where you can't really punish players, how are you going to enforce that? Are you willing to put Duke Williams on the bench and not play him because he's taking penalties? Are you willing to sit down a starting offensive lineman because he's taken too many holding penalties? I don't know that a coach is willing to do that.
That's why the coaches get paid a lot of money. We were asking Jeff Reinbold, I think it was one of his last appearances on here, how do you crack down on penalties? He's like, you can't fine them internally because the Players Association will stop that. So you name your team coming out of training camp and you have what you have. And frankly, I've said it. Why do I feel like I'm in remedial grade 10 English here? Like, they know what they have. They picked their team. So I guess, Wayne and Victoria and these fans that are sticking by him, and there are many. Marlene, I think she goes by Green Rider Prider on Twitter. They don't have a problem. They don't have a problem with the way these players are acting. And some fans are turned off by it and say they are having a tough time cheering for the team anymore. I guess it comes down to a personal decision. But the point is, some teams have a mantra, I guess, or a philosophy that they wouldn't have players like that on their team. And I was watching the football game on Saturday with Mike Abu-Meshrik, and of course he is the contrarian of all time. He turns to me and he goes, I think you need to have a discipline problem. And he won a championship with the 2007 Saskatchewan Roughriders. So, as they say, you can't win a championship with a team full of choir boys and Boy Scouts. So I guess it's up to the individual fan. Because, hey, again, what are the Riders going to do? Repick their team? You just said it. Duke Williams is their best receiver, might be their best player overall. And the coach, did he not say after the game with the spitting incident, he's like, I have a tough time believing he would do that. That's what he said. I feel like it's parents in the teachers' parent-teacher meeting. Little Johnny dipped her pigtail in the ink on her desk. I don't think that my son would do that. Yeah, well, he did. So, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
How do you? So if they don't prove the spitting because it's not on video, and now I feel like I'm in a Seinfeld episode, he'll get away with it, I guess.
Yeah, he probably will. I mean, are the allegations enough to warrant a fine, at least? You look at the way that those two players conducted themselves, the helmet throwing, how heated they were on the sidelines, both on the Argos sideline and the Riders sideline. You can't fake that. Something happened. There is something that happened between these two players. So trying to figure out what that is. It's not faked because those emotions were real.
Jeff, the Stamps fan, says, I guess the Riders' code of conduct they talk about is a standard they hold for other teams, not their own.
Spicy.
Mike in Toronto says, what's the best spitting incident in sports history? I'll say Bret Hart on Vince McMahon. No, it's Robbie Alomar. It's Roberto Alomar, where we called him Gobby Alomar after that. It's got to be Roberto Alomar. Maybe that's a poll question for tomorrow. Moose, I'll see you in hour 2, okay?
You bet.
Here's your Hour 1 sports update. Pete Alonso, Albert Pujols, and Kyle Schwarber will tee off in the All-Star Home Run Derby at Dodger Stadium tonight, where baseball fans see how far and fast the Sluggers can launch long balls into the L.A. twilight. Alonso is trying to become the first player to win the Derby 3 straight times. He tops the majors this year with 24 home runs with the Mets. In the Canadian Elite Basketball League on Sunday, the Niagara River Lions defeated the Scarborough Shooting Stars 93-70 to extend their win streak to 5 games. The Edmonton Stingers overcame a first-quarter deficit to beat the Hamilton Honey Badgers on the road 88-81. And the Fraser Valley Bandits out there in BC snapped their 3-game losing streak at home Sunday with a 95-88 win over the Ottawa Blackjacks at Langley Event Center. And MLS, the visiting Vancouver Whitecaps were under 10 minutes away from moving into the 7th and final playoff berth in Major League Soccer's Western Conference Sunday night, but had to settle for a 1-1 tie at Providence Park. After getting called for a foul in the box, Brian White scored in the 32nd minute for Vancouver, while Felipe Mora scored on a penalty kick in the 82nd minute. This sports update for Edo, Japan. Edo, Japan. Delicious Japanese-inspired meals and snacks made to order with high-quality ingredients. The owner of the Montreal Alouettes, Gary Stern, joins us next. You're watching the RP Show live from the Grey Eagle Resort and Casino Stage Bar in Calgary, Alberta, on Game Plus Television. We're live streaming on YouTube and, of course, 24-hour sports radio streaming now at rodpeterson.com.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Peterson Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Peterson Show now.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. DDG. Always delivering the best fan experience. Find us at ddgregina.com.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services, and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right. Are you ready? It's finally time for your next adventure, and it starts at Capital Ford. Custom order the perfect new vehicle for you, or reserve one of the hundreds that's already built and on its way. Can't wait? Get into a pre-owned vehicle that's already on the lot and ready to rock. Plus, the American Export event is back and bigger than ever. We'll send your vehicle south, making you the most money for your trade. Guaranteed. Oh, and for a limited time, all name brand tires are employee priced. Only at Capital Ford Lincoln. Your adventure starts here.
Easy snacking all around. Something everyone can love.
Is it time to take your event online? Bring it to IKS Live. We've got a fully customized virtual event platform with remote guest support for your next fundraiser, talk show, conference, performance, and more. IKS Live offers live streaming to Facebook Live and YouTube and pre-recorded capabilities, both in our studio with green screen available and on location with pre-production and post-production services. Visit us at ikslive.ca.
A legend throws 713 yards in a single pro football game.
A legend wins 3 Grey Cup MVP awards.
Allen looking deep. A legend scores 1,209 points in 1,127 NHL games. Play among legends at betregal.net.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
We open our 16th week of residency at Grey Eagle Resort and Casino today with your favorite daytime sports and entertainment talk show on Game Plus Television. It's our distinct honor to welcome the owner of the Montreal Alouettes, Gary Stern, to the RP show for the very first time. Gary, it's not very often we get to talk to a CFL owner or an owner of any team for that matter. I appreciate you coming on with us, Gary. How are things today? Are you out in Montreal or where are you at?
No, I'm in Toronto. My office, head office is in Toronto. So I'm back here today, and I got caught by a bit surprise. Somebody must love you in the Alouette organization, because between 12:30 and 1 o'clock, I meditate every day. And then they tell me I got a podcast. So thrilled to be here. But if I go into a trance, you'll know why.
No problem. Well, I appreciate the meditation. I'm sure it's worked for you. And yes, I got some really good friends in that Alouettes organization. And I'll ask you, Gary, how's life as the owner of the Montreal Alouettes these days? They're 1-4. Or you're 1-4, but second in the East. How's it look from your perspective?
Different than I thought. I really did think we were going 18-0 this year. And it's our first year, and I thought we'd have a better record. Did I lose you guys? I'm not sure.
No, we got you.
Okay, I lost you in the game. And I thought we'd be better, but I have tremendous confidence in our management, both in Mario Cecchini and in Danny Machocha. And they really believe that they're on the right track. Changes were made that they felt needed to be made. And it's a long season. It's the CFL. I'm still an owner, but also a fan. And these guys know what they're talking about. I don't. But it's different. But I'm told, and I really believe, we're on the right track.
Well, clearly you're a guy that lets people do their jobs, so we'll see how it all plays out. But I just wondered, I mean, you come from the steel industry, right? What made you want to get into pro sports ownership?
I've always loved sports, any sport. And as a child growing up, CFL was it. I lived in Toronto, not Montreal. Loved it. Watched it with my dad. We were really close, and we watched it, and I grew up with it. And then as business came on and I got more involved in business, I kind of drifted away from the CFL. And then I was we watch every year the Grey Cup in my man cave with a bunch of friends and parents. And loving the Grey Cup, and a real good friend of mine, Dale Lastman, is connected with MLSE, and he was chairman of the Argonauts at the time. And he said, the Alouettes are for sale. I go, really? And my father-in-law was there, Sid Spiegel, and I go, I'm interested. He goes, okay, I'll send him in tomorrow. Randy came in the next day, and we were owners, and I don't regret it. People keep asking, but couldn't have had worse timing with COVID coming a month later. But I'm loving it. It's a challenge. It will continue to be a challenge, but I'm enjoying it despite the challenges that I didn't expect.
I'm sure you do. What have you found is the best part of being an owner of the Alouettes or a CFL team?
Watching a great group of guys, and I'm pretty close with the guys on the team. I know I'm an owner, but watching them, I got to spend 3 days 2 weeks ago. I took off work and I spent 3 days there watching them go through their day from 7:30 in the morning till the later afternoon, watching what they go through. These are great athletes. Not only that, their minds, what they have to retain and do, and loved it. Just thrilled being part of this team. That's the greatest part of it.
Well, it's interesting you say that. I mean, there's I've been around this a long time myself. I spent 20 years in the CFL as the voice of the Saskatchewan Roughriders. And the players, I love them too. It's what I loved about them. They're very special people. Coaches, very special people. Every person's special. But they're still employees also at the end of the day. Are they different than employees of your other corporations? You obviously view them differently?
No, I don't. They're in a different field. It's a different business. And if everybody told you football is just a game, it's not. It's a game played within being a business. So there's a whole bunch of transactions and things that go on that myself as a fan would have never realized. And that's what I'm learning more and more. It's a business, but they're real good people. And that's what I look for. Our organization, from the administration to the actual players on the field, are good people. Some maybe could be better. Some need to have more training. Some, just like any business. But it's really coming together. And I think the organization is a great organization. We've made huge strides from the day we bought it to where we are today.
Oh, there's no doubt. Hey, we're watching it very closely, and I love the organization. I love a lot of your players and staff, too. What's impressing me in this chat right now is you mentioned the meditation, and I've done mine already, Gary. I'm ahead of you. But you're open to learning. You're open to learning what you don't know. And not everybody in your position is. And actually, when you took over the team and you made a lot of very authentic, very raw truth statements, I'm like, uh-oh, they're going to get to Gary soon. And then you go on Twitter and you're very open on there. Clearly, nobody's monitoring your Twitter account or going through a filter. Like, you enjoy the banter with the fans, I can tell.
Yeah. I never even knew social media. I knew less about social media than I did about football. And I just went on and started looking and go, hey, this is a good medium. People can speak and you can have fun with it. The only part I don't like about Twitter is sometimes people take it too deep and get too angry or too emotional. It's just social media. You should have a chance to express your feelings, constructive criticism, get it out there, but keep it clean. And I found, for the most part, I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah, well, I'm enjoying seeing your interaction and the things that you say. And let me ask you this. You lost Sid last year. How tough was that for you and the organization? Because clearly this was a dream of you both, and Sid's not around now to enjoy, where you're taking this franchise.
I got to be careful because you'll see, I get very emotional out of it. He was a great father-in-law. He was a great mentor. Saw the future, a visionary. And my working relationship with him, as well as family relationship, was tremendous. And when we lost him, it took some of the fun away, but it also made me more determined to do better with it because he loved it. So emotionally, I feel that he's not here to enjoy it. He's not here to do it. But now, more for the love of him and everything, I want to do better and better with it because he said, yeah, we can do it. So that's where I'm at with that.
I love it. Well, he's watching. He's cheering, probably from the luxury suite in a sky somewhere. And from where we sit out here in Western Canada, it's fun to watch, and I think you're doing a great job. And I've said it from day one. You're what the CFL needs. So, Gary, keep it up. Good luck this week in Ottawa, and I hope we can do it again sometime.
Thank you very much for having me on your show. Thank you.
You bet. The owner of the Montreal Alouettes, Gary Stern, joining us from Toronto. They open Week 7 at Ottawa Thursday as part of a doubleheader. We'll be back with viewer takeover for Taco Time right after this. You're watching the RP Show live from the Grey Eagle Casino in Calgary, Alberta, on Game Plus Television and 24-hour streaming sports radio. Available now at rodpeterson.com.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Are you ready? It's finally time for your next adventure, and it starts at Capital GMC. Custom order the perfect new vehicle for you, or reserve one of the hundreds that's already built and on its way. Can't wait? Get into a GM-certified pre-owned vehicle that's on our lot and ready to rock. Plus, the American Export event is back and bigger than ever. We'll send your vehicle south, making you the most money for your trade. Guaranteed. Oh, and for a limited time, all name brand tires are employee priced. Only at Capital GMC. Your adventure starts here.
The summer of hockey in Alberta continues, and the future of Team Canada is bright. The 2022 World Juniors return to Edmonton August 9th to 20th. Single game tickets available from $40. Buy now at hockeycanada.ca.
A legend throws 713 yards in a single pro football game.
A legend wins 3 Grey Cup MVP awards.
Allen looking deep. A legend scores 1,209 points in 1,127 NHL games. Play among legends at betregal.net.
Some of the challenges we face with the CT technology that we have today is some of the deficiencies in around integration with some of our other systems. The addition of 2 new 4D simulators within the programming, the Saskatchewan Cancer Agency is going to have significant impact on the care we provide to the people of Saskatchewan.
Grey Eagle Resort and Casino.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Live from Grey Eagle, it is time for Taco Time viewer takeover. Let me tell you something about Taco Time. Real food, real value, real flavor. And we'll be opening up the World Juniors ticket contest tomorrow. Next hour, when the Moose rejoins us. The interview with Gary Stern was awesome, wasn't it? And it's funny, Randy in the Peg says, nothing like watching the Grey Cup and then buying a team the next day. LOL. Wish him success. He seems like a very authentic guy. And if you saw the start of that interview, wouldn't that something? Gary's like, somebody must love you in the Alouettes organization, Rod, because I'm normally tied up this time of day. Well, it's Francois Dupont. Yeah, that would be the guy. One of their top cheeses, fromage, in the PR department. He worked for Hockey Canada back in the day when I was the voice of Team Canada for the World Juniors. Ties that bind. But I don't think it's just Francois. I remember going to Montreal with the Riders, whatever year it was that Manziel was playing for them. I think it was 2018. And we're in the press box before the game at Percival Molson Stadium, and I just got attacked by Alouette staff, broadcasters, coaches, office people. And they're like, here's what's going on, this, and this. So I'm like, oh, okay. And I said, where's Andrew Wettenhall, the owner's kid? And they're like, well, we don't see him that much. We don't think he's running much of the team. He's not around. I said, he can still run the team, but not be around. That's a very scary thing. And, I sounds like Gary's the kind of guy that is staying out of things and letting people do their jobs. They tell me that we're on the right track. What else I gonna say? But yeah, I hope so too. The 902 text line is open, 902-518-3033. Dan Nagy is watching in Winnipeg on Game Plus TV, where we were carried on Bell MTS cable. He says, why doesn't the CFL commissioner mandate teams be separated by opposite sides of the field? Is he waiting for a brawl to break out? Well, this isn't obviously just an Ambrosi thing, but let me think. Ottawa, for sure, they're on the same side of the field. They are in Montreal, too, are they not? I don't think the commissioner can unilaterally say, split this up. Or somebody would have by now. For whatever reason, they don't. I'm just repeating your question. I don't know the answer to it. But it seems like some sort of stadium configuration thing stopping them from doing it. Larry Dye in Medicine Hat watching says, forget expansion, have the Boltman play in Wolfville. That doesn't solve many of the CFL's problems, really, because then you still have 9 teams. They want a 10th team for scheduling, balancing, merchandising, being followed in more regions. Moving the Argos to the Maritimes isn't going to help anybody. And by the way, I suggested the same thing at one time. Last minute of play in hour 1. Last minute of play. Wilf in Steinbach, Manitoba says, the Duke has anger issues. Coaches need to address this. Spitting, never condoned. Well, we're going to find out this week whether he plays or not. Brady in Saskatoon. Hey, Rod, sounds like Pierre-Luc Dubois wants to play in Montreal. How exciting would that be? Riders are extremely undisciplined, as seen with the numerous fights on Saturday. Duke Williams will most likely be suspended for swinging his helmet at an Argo opponent. He didn't swing his helmet. He threw the opponent's helmet, just to make it clear. Had that happened in the 60 minutes, he would have been ejected. But it happened in warm-up. We've gone over that. Maybe we'll talk next hour what the CFL should do with Duke Williams. We'll be back after this break on Game Plus Television, live from Grey Eagle Resort and Casino.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
Or to help new moms and babies, like Henry.
There's lots of reasons to donate blood.
That's why we need donors every day.
The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers in supporting Canada's Lifeline.
Are you ready? It's finally time for your next adventure, and it starts at Capital GMC. Custom order the perfect new vehicle for you, or reserve one of the hundreds that's already built and on its way. Can't wait? Get into a GM-certified pre-owned vehicle that's on our lot and ready to rock. Plus, the American Export event is back and bigger than ever. We'll send your vehicle south, making you the most money for your trade. Guaranteed. Oh, and for a limited time, all name brand tires are employee priced. Only at Capital GMC. Your adventure starts here.
Grey Eagle Resort and Casino.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services, and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
On the eve of Touchdown Atlantic, it seems like the Schooner deal is dead.
And it's sad to say, right? This should be a celebration, and I still think the city is excited to have Touchdown Atlantic here. Savage said to me that they didn't invite Touchdown Atlantic to be here, and we need the key truth speakers in this instance to show us where the potential of expansion really is right now, and that's probably not happening in Halifax.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Here we go, saying again, do not follow me for betting advice. Go to betregal.ca, the experts, where they have the money lines. Riders were favored by 3 in Touchdown Atlantic and lost by 6. The second hour is going to be a whole heck of a lot of fun. And just before we bring the Moose back in, this ain't even a contest. Our poll question today is we cracked the lid on hour 2, and there's the Moose in his great hair. Who is Canada's best NHL team? Running away with it? The Edmonton Oilers. The last I saw, 78% of the vote for Capital Auto Mall, Universal Collision Center. The other two options we came up with were Calgary and Toronto. I thought being here in Calgary, I could not say the Calgary Flames, but I didn't vote for them. I voted for the Edmonton Oilers. Moose voted for the Leafs. And by the way, we're going to... just a couple comments here regarding our interview last hour with Gary Stern, the owner of the Montreal Alouettes. How cool is this guy? Moose, he's cooler than the other side of your pillow. And Ryan in Saratoga, New York's watching, and he says, that was a great interview with Mr. Stern. I know things currently look bleak for the Alouettes, but I hope they win the Grey Cup in Sid's memory. And Adam watching in Hamilton says, hey, Rod, who do you think is going to win the CFL East? I'm thinking a Winnipeg-Toronto Grey Cup. That's what I'm thinking. So, Moose, I'm throwing a lot of things at you. We're coming in hot here in hour 2. What did you think of the interview with the owner of the Montreal Alouettes, Gary Stern?
I thought it was really good. Thought it was honest. I think he came out right away and said that he's disappointed. I mean, he thought they were going to go undefeated, and he, obviously should think that. He's the owner. But he's disappointed in the results, but he's excited about the future. I mean, we look at the first year of their ownership. He's like, this is our first year. This is year one. And it doesn't feel like that to us. It doesn't feel like that to this regime of the Alouettes because of, with Kahari Jones at the helm, now it's Danny Machocha. But, I'm excited, to see where this organization will go and what types of things that Gary's going to do to help them grow.
He seems like a guy that would clearly treat his people well. But I shuddered a little bit when he said, well, my people tell me that we're on the right track. I'm like, yeah, I've seen that. Like, that's why I don't want to be an owner. Man, like Gary clearly just kind of wants a toy. He doesn't want to get involved. He's a nice guy. But how do you know that you have the right people? Because I've worked for all kinds of owners, all kinds of presidents and governors, and it's tricky. It's tricky to win and then to sustained winning. You know what I mean? I don't know if these owners get together and talk about, hey, how did you do it, Mr. Kraft? How did you do it, Mr. Kraft? Like he's going to tell everybody else what his secret to success is. It's hard to be an owner, I would think.
Yeah, I would think so. And when you say, my people are telling me we're doing great things, well, yeah, they want to keep their jobs. They do. They want you to think that everything is going great and they're doing a great job. How do you really know unless you get in there? And obviously, if you talk to multiple people, you'll really find out what's going on. Talk to the players, you talk to the coaching staff, you talk to the trainers, you talk to assistants and whatever else. But you know what? If he thinks it's going well, who are we to judge?
Yeah, it's his team, right? But it's a wonderful franchise. It's a wonderful city, and we wish them the best. But my favorite line from the whole interview was, somebody with the Alouettes must love you, Rod. This is my meditation time. But they said, no, you got to go on the show. So, je t'aime, Alouettes. Particularly Francois. We are going to jump all over the place like the family of squirrels that we are. I do want to get back to the CFL in a moment, but we didn't go deep enough into this NHL thing for a second. I know it's July 18th, and this is episode number 801 of your favorite daytime sports and entertainment talk show, but it is Canada. And I go back to that Flames thing and the guy wearing his hat at the Stampede yesterday. Calgary Flames, 2022 Pacific champs. I've never really even seen those sold in stores for any team. It looked like he got that printed up somewhere. Would that surprise you if somebody, for any team, not just a Flames fan? Like, could you see a guy going and
tattoos? Doing that? Yeah, people get tattoos all the time of their team and different things. I've never heard of somebody going and embroidering a hat that says, champs or division champs. All the Stanley Cup merch is there for the Colorado Avalanche, and that's widely known. But yeah, I've seen stuff. When you win a pennant, I've seen that on gear, but not in the NHL and not on a hat. That did surprise me.
Yeah, I've seen it. I've seen it in a lot of other leagues, but not the NHL, interestingly enough. From Andrew Stout, he says, Je t'aime aussi, mon amour. Rod, I love you too, my friend. That's from Andrew. Randy in Winnipeg says, I voted Edmonton because I didn't want to vote for the Leafs. LOL. The Oilers haven't won a Stanley Cup since 1990. I get it. Leafs 1967. But it's just amazing. I'm going to say the Oilers aren't as much of a team in flux coming out of the first week of free agency. Now they got their goalie. Said they signed Matthias Janmark over the weekend. He's a good player. I think the Oilers coming back. And by the way, being the best team in Canada gets you what? A bag of potato chips? Like it's not, they don't get a trophy for that. No. But I'm just saying, going into this season with free agency all but sewn up, how close are you following that? Who's left out there that could help a team? Nazem Kadri, right? The Calgary Flames are going to need to sign somebody because they are kind of hot in this town.
No, for sure they do. There are some names out there. And if you want to go to a half a dozen years ago, there are some big names out there. If you want to go back a little bit, like Phil Kessel's available and PK Subban is available. If you want to go to some names that were probably really highly coveted about, 5-6 years ago, and still have some gas left in the tank. And you might be able to get, a player like that on a really good contract and help supplement what you have. you're not going to replace Johnny Gaudreau's 115 points in one shot. It's just not going to happen. I mean, even with a miracle season from somebody left on the market, they're not getting to 115 points. But you might be able to piece together, some safeguards or a stopgap situation with what's left.
Well, we're obviously following it very closely, and we'll see what the Calgary Flames do. But they're going to have to do a lot. And they still do have, I believe, the division's best goalie, but they're going to have to do a lot to repeat as division champions, which, by the way, other than getting a banner, which means something, I mean, with the championship teams I've been on or the teams that have won banners, like in hockey, you walk into an arena and say, oh, I was with that team. Like, that does mean a lot. That does mean a lot. Yeah. But it's interesting, our guy Jug in Saskatoon writes in the Jug, and he laughs. He says, Stampede 1, Roddy 0. And I will say that the Stampede did take a round out of me, and I don't drink alcohol. So I think there are people that will be recovering, well, until the weekend when Country Thunder starts up out here. I can't believe the constitution of these people. It is ungodly. It's impressive. But sitting around yesterday at Calgary Stampede Championship Sunday, this is somewhat new for me, Moose, to be in an NHL market, and I love it. We're sitting around a table, and I'm just listening. I'm getting so much better at this. I was telling somebody on the weekend, I don't chime in anymore. Darren, can you believe it? I just sit and I listen. How about that?
How about that?
And, well, they've turned from the shock of him signing in Columbus to kind of the anger, right? Yeah. So they're starting to dump on him a little bit, and they're getting angry, and you knew that was going to come. The group that I was with knew that I was a certified mental health recovery and addiction recovery coach, so they're like, what are the stages of grief again? And I'm like, yeah, kind of different for everybody, but you're hitting them all. So eventually they'll hit acceptance. They're not quite at acceptance yet, which probably wouldn't surprise you at all. But anyways, Montreal's made some nice moves. People like the Kirby Docs there, and they've moved out Jeff Petrie and that trade on the weekend. But I guess we're talking about the team. And by the way, when you say what's Canada's best team, it's the team that will go furthest in the playoffs. Do you think Toronto's got it in them next year with the goaltending changes that they've made?
That's a big question mark, obviously, for both the Oilers and the Leafs. Can the group that Toronto's putting together with Samsonov and with Matt Murray, and then the other young players, can they put enough together in the crease to get Toronto into the playoffs and then win them a couple of rounds? Probably good enough for sure to get them in. I don't know to win a cup or not. But up front, they're still a very good team. They lost some of their depth pieces. They replaced them with other depth pieces. So probably for the most part, a wash. I think Edmonton is still very good. Getting Evander Kane locked up, that seems to be a really good fit. So I think in Edmonton, you're really happy with the group coming back as well. Calgary's the one team that's taken a big step back. Montreal's improved. Their future's coming. Ottawa's really improved. Their future is not here yet, but it's really close to being here. It might be another year away, but it's really close. Calgary's a team that went the wrong way here in the offseason.
11-11 Mountain, by the way. Just so you know, you're entering the next chapter, Moose. All the prior chapters have prepared you for that. Now, and I feel like a bit of a country bumpkin in that. When I say I've never lived in an NHL market before, quasi full-time since I went to college here in Calgary, but it's just all they do every day is sit around and talk about their NHL team. It's kind of cool. And the majority of our viewers are probably in NHL markets. I don't know. We'd have to run the numbers and look. But I come from largely a CFL market where all they do is sit around and talk about the CFL team. But it's different here. Haven't heard a lot of talk about the Calgary Stampeders, but we may change that. And switching gears, I said we would get back to the CFL. And this is the one, I'm sure, Darren, the CFL would prefer not to have the media and public talking about these disciplinary things, the pregame fight in Touchdown Atlantic, the alleged spitting incident involving Saskatchewan's Duke Williams. But they don't control what we talk about. We do. And David in Winnipeg watching, David Asplin says, on the Duke Williams situation, if I went to my coworker and threw a helmet at him or spit on him, I'd be severely disciplined. And it's time to hold these players accountable. Doesn't matter if you're a franchise player or all-star. We shouldn't be sweeping these things under the rug and handling them properly. So I said before we went to break at the top of the hour, I would ask you what you think should happen to him. With the investigation, I would assume is ongoing.
Yeah, investigation's ongoing. I wouldn't compare it to throwing a helmet at your work situation. The way I would compare it is if Rod threw a pen at me, right? Or picked up the microphone flag there and threw that at me, or some sort of equipment that you use on a daily basis, right? But, I know it's hard to compare them. Supplemental discipline. It wasn't handled on the field, so you have to handle it supplementally. If you think he shouldn't have played in the game because of that, then my guess is he's going to get a 1-game suspension. He shouldn't have played. They didn't take care of it, so they'll make sure he does sit out for a game. And so I would expect, my estimate would be Duke Williams doesn't play the next Rider game.
That would be my guess, too. I have to put this in for Jeff, the Stamps fan. He's been writing in a few times. He says, my Stampeders were robbed on Friday. And he says the officiating was terrible in the game. Full disclosure, and I can't remember what I was doing on Friday. I think Stampede.
Probably a rodeo.
I was at the Chuck Wagons. I didn't see one snap of the Winnipeg-Calgary game. Like nothing. I didn't even see a highlight after the fact. I didn't see anybody from the Calgary organization come out and complain about the officiating in the game at all. No, I did see highlights now that I think about it. Because the game-ending play was tipped by the Calgary receiver, Kamar Jordan, in the end zone into the Winnipeg players' hands to end the game. Right? And Adam in Hamilton says it was an exciting weekend of football. Each game had plenty of drama. And I'm glad that I wrote this down. Darren, Hamilton got its first win, 25-23 over Ottawa in Hamilton. And the breaking news today is the Tiger Cats have added Kahari Jones as a football operations advisor. We've mentioned Touchdown Atlantic, Toronto beating Sask 30-24. Winnipeg beating the Stamps 26-19. And Edmonton opened the week beating Gary Stern's Alouettes 32-31. Can I just ask you this in the minute that we have left? Riders lose that game. The football people are telling me that it was a winnable game by the Riders and that they let it get away. And any criticism of the quarterback specifically or solely is Cody Fajardo is misguided.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, it doesn't help to have the interceptions, obviously, and the one at the end. But when it's going off a receiver's hands, there's not much you can do. And when your quarterback is giving you a chance to win and keeping you in the football game, that's what you want, right? And I think Cody's the guy. And you look around, and I say, who would you replace him with? Who would you replace him with? Because there's not a ton of guys out there that are just going to come in and be better than Cody, be a better leader. I think you've got the guy that's going to get you where you need to go.
Well, we await this week an update on Cody Fajardo's status because he did appear injured in the game. As a matter of fact, hang on. Hold that thought, everybody. We'll come back and I'll finish my thoughts on the Fajardo injury and the twisting under the pile. More on the NHL talk on our poll question, so stick around. We'll be right back. You're watching the RP Show. We're live on the Game Plus television network all across Canada on Game Plus and 31 U.S. states. We're also live on YouTube, and you can always catch the podcast wherever the best podcasts are found, including Amazon, Google, Apple, Stitcher, and Spotify.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Smoky in the air, that's a lot of time. Big time, big time, big time, big time. Big time.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
Or to help new moms and babies, like Henry.
There's lots of reasons to donate blood. That's why we need donors every day.
The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers in supporting Canada's Lifeline.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right. Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
A legend throws 713 yards in a single pro football game.
A legend wins 3 Grey Cup MVP awards.
Allen looking deep. A legend scores 1,209 points in 1,127 NHL games. Play among legends at betregal.net.
The summer of hockey in Alberta continues, and the future of Team Canada is bright. The 2022 World Juniors return to Edmonton August 9th to 20th. Single game tickets available from $40. Buy now at hockeycanada.ca.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
All right, we're back at that beautiful place, Grey Eagle Resort and Casino, Calgary's entertainment destination. The viewers watching on YouTube saw the commercial on the break for the World Juniors, and indeed, Gear Up Alberta. The World Juniors are back in Edmonton this summer, August 9th to the 20th. Single game tickets are on sale now for as low as $40 at hockeycanada.ca. But please text World Juniors right now in all caps, right now, to 902-518-3033, and you'll be entered to win any regular tournament World Juniors game tickets of your choice. 2 winners will be picked every Friday. They're calling it the Summer of Hockey, and the World Juniors are in Edmonton in August, and we will be there broadcasting live. Before I jump into a sports update, and it might be a minute or two before I do, let's bring in the Moose if you don't mind. He is in the NHL's Bermuda Triangle right now. Moose, I'm just calling up my Twitter. Clyde Carpenter has written us. He is in the Maritimes. He says, hey, Rod, you should come out east and do a few shows here in St. John's, Newfoundland. I guess Newfoundland, I believe, is not considered the Maritimes. But you know what I mean. It's out there as you're looking at the map. Are we taking this show on the road again? Is it time? Is it time? You're the boss.
I would do it in a heartbeat. I've never been out that far east. I haven't been. So I would love to go. If Mr. Carpenter wants to arrange that, I mean, I would love to find some partners out there, somebody to bring us out. That'd be great.
Well, you guys did put out a tweet last week, and I won't say whom, from our show account about broadcasting a show from a yacht in Miami. And I think a lot of people need to understand I don't really even have control over the Twitter account of The Rod Pedersen Show. I don't even know what the hang you guys were talking about. What's going on? Are we going on a yacht in Miami to do the show?
I think that was just a line in the water to see if there was somebody with a yacht who's like, sure, I've got a place. That? I'm not sure at that moment, but I mean, the way the show's gone and where we've broadcasted, it could be anywhere.
Wasn't you then? Okay. That's all that I'm asking. So I apologize back to the viewers here. There have been many comments that have come in here today, as usual. I'm trying to find the one from Pinks. Maybe he needs to write in again. He says, here it is. Congratulations to Zach Hill and the Flyers PR staff, Philadelphia Flyers, for winning the 2022 Dillman Award, presented to the #1 East-West Public Relations team in the National Hockey League. 4th win for Hill's team and great walk-off into retirement. Pinks is the biggest Philadelphia Flyers fan I know that isn't alum, because Joe Watson, when we were with him, the 78-year-old Joe Watson, the Philadelphia Flyers great, 2-time Stanley Cup champion, and we were with him in Estevan. He's best friends with this Zach guy. And so this guy's named Zach, and he's retiring. So clearly he was ahead of his time being named Zach and heading into retirement. Moose, what do you think?
Yeah, I think so. They're probably, when he was born, probably not a lot of Zachs in the world at that moment. But no, Joe Watson speaks very highly of him. I've spoken to Zach on the phone. Great guy. And Joe, who's taken over, is just going to continue that. He was working with Zach, so they've got a great PR department. Congratulations.
By the way, NHL Free Agency not over. Randy in Winnipeg points out that John Klingberg is still available, who's done great things with the Dallas Stars. So I guess you could remake your team in a hurry. I guess the race is over. If you're the Calgary Flames, you got that $10.5 million that you offered to Johnny Hockey just sitting there. So you would expect that they're going to make a splash, and you've said it yourself. They're not going to replace Johnny Gaudreau's 115 points. But if you literally have a guy that didn't want to be there, this is what I'm trying to tell Flames fans. He didn't want to be here. So while you love him and he led the team in scoring 6 of 8 years, how good would he have been if he wanted to be here? He doesn't want to be here. So that they are not at the acceptance stage yet, Darren, I guess, is my place. My point. We were asking earlier, it's not the poll question today, but will you watch the home run derby tonight? And you're down as a yes, correct?
Yep.
Yeah. I'm down as a yes as well. Jumping, and by the way, the text line's open, 902-518-3033. For your questions and comments, but also to text World Juniors in all caps and enter our contest to win tickets to the round-robin games of your choice of the World Juniors next month in Edmonton. But Adam in Hamilton says the biggest headline in the CFL could be the terrible imbalance of Eastern versus Western teams. Now, it's been a couple of weeks since I went back and added up the records. I think the last time I did, West teams in the Canadian Football League total were like 12-2, and I think the East teams were 2-6. And I apologize now that I say that. I think I put it in my commentary that runs on the radio, but I didn't mention it on this show. Why I think the teams in Western Canada have for decades been better than the teams in Eastern Canada, simply because they take it far more seriously out here. And by the way, nobody argued that. People have said to me, I've been trying to figure it out too. Maybe you're right. And what I mean by that is, if you miss a kick and you're playing in a Western Canadian market, you drop a pass, you miss a tackle on the game-winning touchdown, you're probably going to have to answer for it the next day in the gas station or in the supermarket, or, I'm not joking, you're listening to the talk radio where people are dumping on you all the time. Where in the Eastern Canada, they just don't care as much. That's what I'm, like when Boris Beattie, Toronto's kicker, missed that extra point, I'm like, I don't think he's going to have to answer for that tomorrow on the streets of Toronto, which cost the Argos a game, or at least going to overtime in a game. Is there any reason that you could put your finger on? You've probably spent 0 seconds thinking about this, but off the top of your head, what do you think it would be?
Yeah, 0 time spent on it. But, I think there's just such a steep history and you get all of that in these Western Canadian markets. I know Hamilton's got a big history, and there's history with the Argonauts and the Alouettes and, a small one with the Red Blacks, but it's a different thing when you get out here. I mean, we want to say that when you're in the prairies and in Saskatchewan, that's all there is the football team, right? There's not all the different things and the opportunities or options that are out there in Toronto or in Montreal. It's not really true anymore, especially in the day of the internet, but it is. It's just got such a steep history and that framework for football.
It's as much as I'm really enjoying meeting new people in Calgary and the fact that there's literally something to do different every single day. I'm explaining what it's like in Saskatchewan, where it is all the football team all day, every day. Did I mention all day, every day? It's a different way of thinking when you're not there anymore. Rick Sawatsky on the 902 text line. He said where is Rick? He is in Martinsville, Sask. He says, despite the current state of the Riders, I take solace that despite winning only 4 times Grey Cups in 100 years, all other fan bases are salivating at piling on the Riders and their fans. And then he goes, rent-free. So he's enjoying being the antagonist of other fan bases that are jealous of the fact that the team in Saskatchewan is the only team and the number one team. He's enjoying that. And by the way, what exactly are the struggles of the Saskatchewan Roughriders? They're 4-2. I think they're 3rd place in the CFL West. Like, things could be worse.
Oh, things could be way worse, for sure. But you see little, cracks in the armor that, has the fan base nervous or worried that they're not going to be able to keep this up, that they won't be 8-4, right? That the losing will start to pile up. But they've been able to win. They've got enough talent, and between their coach and between Cody and some of their weapons, they've got enough really good people in the organization on the field that they've been able to overcome the penalties and overcome some of the mistakes to get 4 wins. So I think they're going to be okay.
Still a long ways to go, but we're getting close to closing the book on the opening third of the season as we approach week 7 in the Canadian Football League. Jeff in Calgary regarding the Flames, he says they should get the 89 team back together. For what? To play? Or a reunion? I will be honest with you. I don't know if you noticed, Moose, the belt buckle that I was wearing. I was having a nervous breakdown over what kind of belt buckle I was going to buy. A, I didn't want to spend too much money because you know how cheap I am. B, I didn't earn it. It would be like going to the trophy store and buying a trophy. My brother has won all these belt buckles. They mean something. He won them. What am I going to go buy one? But then I go to Lamley's, and the one that I bought was quite nice, actually, and it wasn't one of those big dinner plates. It was an actual, like a buckle. It turned out real good. But the reason I bring that up is Tim Hunter was here the other day, the 89 Stanley Cup champion, who, by the way, I don't know if you saw his Instagram today, but apparently Tim Hunter has the most penalty minutes all time of any guy that ever played against the LA Kings. This is what hockey people do in the summer to fill their time. They break these things down. So no player in NHL history has had more penalty minutes against the LA Kings than Tim Hunter. So anyways, I said, let me have a look at that belt buckle you got on. And it was a Calgary Flames belt buckle. And it was gold and silver. And I was like, woo-ha! Where'd you get that? And he goes, every player on the 89 Calgary Flames got one of these belt buckles. It was specially made. And I think one of the companies that makes these belt buckles is Montana Silversmiths. I don't know if they made this buckle or not, but it was Jostens that makes the rings. And Hunter said that there was like only 5 guys on the team that even cared to have one of these things. So I'm sure if I went to eBay or hit Pawn Stars, I could probably find one. But it was nice. It was really nice. Would you wear a Calgary Flames belt buckle, or would you wear a Maple Leafs belt buckle?
You know, I probably wouldn't as a fan. I remember my dad used to have belt buckles too. Now, he grew up on a farm. I remember being amazed at his belt buckle collection, but they weren't, fake ones. They were ones that were gifted to him from farmers or from work. I think there were a lot of John Deere, right, belt buckles. So I thought those were really cool. And, I always wanted one or to wear a belt buckle. And honestly, I haven't thought about it in a while, but you say that, I'm like, maybe we got to get some belt buckles made up for the show. I wonder if we'd sell a few at the Stampede.
Well, we have a branding iron, but I was walking around the Calgary Stampede yesterday, and I thought a lot about my dad, who's not with us anymore, but he wore a buckle with a gold bull on it, and that was his thing. So we'll find out if the Colorado Avalanche will have special commemorative Stanley Cup belt buckles made when Marc Moser, their broadcaster, joins us next. Moose, we'll see you for overtime.
You bet.
Indeed, we are going to Colorado next. We're broadcasting live from the Grey Eagle Resort and Casino, Calgary's entertainment destination. We're on the Stage Bar before a live studio audience, and we'll be right back on the Game Plus television network. We're also live streaming on YouTube, and you can always catch the podcast wherever you get your podcasts, including Amazon, Google, Apple, Stitcher, and Spotify.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Easy snacking all around. Something everyone can love.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. DDG. Always delivering the best fan experience. Find us at ddgregina.com.
A legend throws 713 yards in a single pro football game.
A legend wins 3 Grey Cup MVP awards.
Allen looking deep. A legend scores 1,209 points in 1,127 NHL games. Play among legends at betregal.net.
The summer of hockey in Alberta continues, and the future of Team Canada is bright. The 2022 World Juniors return to Edmonton August 9th to 20th. Single game tickets available from $40. Buy now at hockeycanada.ca.
Are you ready? It's finally time for your next adventure, and it starts at Capital GMC. Custom order the perfect new vehicle for you, or reserve one of the hundreds that's already built and on its way. Can't wait? Get into a GM-certified pre-owned vehicle that's on our lot and ready to rock. Plus, the American Export event is back and bigger than ever. We'll send your vehicle south, making you the most money for your trade. Guaranteed. Oh, and for a limited time, all name brand tires are employee priced. Only at Capital GMC. Your adventure starts here.
Lot of sun, smoky in the air, that's a lot of pine. Big time, big time, big time, big time.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
Or to help new moms and babies, like Henry.
There's lots of reasons to donate blood. That's why we need donors every day.
The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers in supporting Canada's Lifeline.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
It is the RP Show live from Grey Eagle Events Center. And by the way, it is the summer of hockey. The World Juniors, August 9th to the 20th, will be played in Edmonton. We'll be broadcasting live from Rogers Place. You can get tickets now for as low as $40, and they're available now at hockeycanada.ca. I don't know if it's summer of hockey in Denver. It probably is. Marc Moser is the Colorado Avalanche broadcaster, the Stanley Cup champions. He welcomes us today. He joined us through the run, and now here he is as a champion. Congratulations, Mark. Did I see you on the stage emceeing part of or all of the Stanley Cup parade down there in Denver?
Actually, Rod, I was actually, our network combined with another local television station in Denver. And so Peter McNabb and I were with our friend Andrew Heel from Channel 7 up on a different stage, actually broadcasting the entire parade and all the festivities. But you can bet that there were a couple of beers consumed there. People were throwing beers up to the television booth, and you got to hammer those, I guess, during parade day. But it was an unbelievably memorable experience. I mean, so much fun. It's been 21 years, obviously, and these Avalanche fans are really, really eating it up.
Well, I knew I saw you on a stage somewhere, so maybe it wasn't the main platform, but I was watching, and congratulations again on that. Is the party still on, or is it over yet?
I think for me, it's over. I think my wife would like it to be over, to be honest with you. But it was just such a fun time, Rod. I mean, because the guys enjoyed it so much. And I hope that everybody who's watching and listening to your show, when you see a team win, you can really see the genuine enthusiasm and the genuine emotion come out of guys, right? I mean, you can tell that this meant everything to them. And not that any other Stanley Cup champion isn't excited and didn't want it, isn't thrilled that they won a Stanley Cup. But these guys had worked hard, and the guys who were here from the 48-point season, the doldrums, the worst of the worst, they knew they were going to be better, but you had to keep building and building and building. And they set their sights, higher and higher every year and learned every single year. They had their quilt, Rod, is what I like to say, and they just kept piecing pieces on their quilt to eventually get where they wanted to be and be able to win it all. So it was very rewarding for them, but it's just, it's fun. So if these guys want to celebrate all summer long and give Ovechkin a run for his money, sounds good. Sounds good to me. As long as we get to October and everybody's ready to go play some hockey again.
And that leads me to a couple other questions. The last time you were on with us, it was an awesome interview, and what stuck with me was you said the loss to Vegas, giving up, a 3-1 series lead to the Golden Knights last year and losing was the fuel for this year. What's the fuel moving forward other than wanting to repeat? Have you, have they talked about that? Have you examined that on your own yet, or what? What's the mindset coming back?
The feel I get from the guys, Rod, and sort of what I've gleaned from what they've been saying is that now they've gotten there, and there's no satisfaction. Once you get there and you get that feeling, you want more of it. You want to keep going and keep going. And I think they all realize, excuse me, that this is a special group. And even with special groups, you have a window. So now, is your window this big? Is your window this big? Is it somewhere in the middle? They all realize that they have a window with the players they currently have on this team and with the core the way it's currently constructed. And so I think they're going to do everything they can to try and reproduce what happened this year after year after year. I mean, you've got your McKinnon, you've got your Landeskog, you've got your Rantanen, you've got your Makar, right? You've got your Bowen Byram, so these younger guys. You've got the veterans they put around who – it's very interesting, too, because when you think about the deals that Joe Sakic and Chris McFarland, who's now the GM, did in terms of acquiring a Josh Manson, Helm before the season, Andrew Cogliano, trading for Arturi Lehkonen into the deadline, they said, we like all these guys. They all fit perfectly. They like us. They obviously want to run it back. They want more of it, too, and they've all re-signed now, which is really a very, very interesting thing. So, you have your budget, you have your salary cap situation. But these guys want to continue to be a part of it, continue to push forward, continue to win more Stanley Cups.
More questions coming out of this. But speaking of the party, how much are you keeping track of the Cup's whereabouts? For instance, I see it's been just down the highway here in Lethbridge with Wade Klippenstein. It's been in Sask with Ryan Murray in Regina. I'm not sure. Are you keeping, how much of a handle are you keeping on that, or tabs?
Well, when it started in Quebec, when Nicolas Aubé-Kubel and Sam Girard had it, I started there. And then, honestly, I lost it. I lost it entirely, Rod, until I saw Jack Johnson have it the other day. And he and his family made a gigantic ice cream sundae out of it, and the kids were eating out of it and everybody was doing their thing. So I guess I started at first going, oh, this is interesting. Okay, I see where it's going now. Okay, cool. And then all of a sudden, it's gone. it's into the ether world. I was lucky enough to be invited to one of the parties here in the very earliest part of September. So that's the next time that I will see that Stanley Cup again at one of the players' parties. But until then, who knows where it's going to be, right? It's going to have to be engraved, obviously, before the season begins and so on. But, I think anybody, it doesn't matter if you're a hockey fan, you look at the Stanley Cup as the holy grail. Because, Rod, I always say, you know what it is? It's hockey immortality. And listen, I'll never be a player. I'll never be a coach. I'll never be an administrator with a team. I'm just a broadcaster. I'm a TV guy. But for these guys, your name is essentially there forever. And then once your band comes off, it's in the Hockey Hall of Fame forever. So you are immortalized in the hockey world. And when you see that Stanley Cup, and I was fortunate enough to be on the ice and in the locker room after Game 6 in Tampa, and no matter how many times I see it, going back to when I first saw it 30 years ago or whatever the case may be, it is the shiniest, it is the prettiest, it is the gleamiest object, I think, that people, have ever seen. It's just an unbelievable piece of hardware that goes through, from team to team down through the passage of time. It's up to you. You don't own it. You borrow it for a short amount of time, and then it's off to other people as well. So it just travels through time. And I think there's something sentimental about that. I think there's something even hockey spiritual wise, something about it just makes it so special.
It's incredibly incredible. And to be honest with you, the last couple summers I've been at some Stanley Cup parties, and I've gotten to be good friends with Phil Pritchard, the keeper of the Cup. And you would think his schedule is just like maddening, and it is. But he feels privileged to be able to accompany it with all these parties, and he has the exact same thoughts of it, obviously, that you do. Now,
yeah, and I saw Phil a couple of times leading up. And I'm thinking, okay, you ready for this one? Are you ready? And of course, the Avs. Once they first got it, Rod, they had some liberties with it. And he's like, okay, let's hang on now. Let's protect this thing. But it's just amazing. Great stuff.
Yeah, for sure. And at some point, it's going to go through Saskatoon with Darcy Kemper. At what point did you realize or think or know that he wasn't going to be back with the Avalanche next season? And your thoughts on that?
I don't know. Here's what I do know. I don't know the exact time frame. I don't know when it exactly was decided, whether it's, after the Cup is won and you're getting ready for the parade. But I know that agents and front offices talk all the time. When a guy is in the last year of his contract, you have to talk. Hey, what are your intentions? These are our intentions. This is what we're looking for. What are you looking for? What kind of money are you looking for? What do we need you to come in at? I'm sure these conversations happen all the time during the course of a season, unless one side says, why don't we shut it down for right now? Let's focus on the task at hand, and that's winning, and then we'll pick it back up another time. But it just feels to me, and I'm not saying a foregone conclusion, but I think that both sides had to know that money-wise, and Darcy's going to be obviously cashed in with the Washington Capitals. Money-wise, you got to pay a lot of players, and there is a salary cap in the National Hockey League for a reason. And I think reality probably sets in at some point during the course of the year, if not right after the Stanley Cup championship is won. So I don't think anybody was shocked, Rod, or surprised or caught off guard the fact that Darcy was going to hit the open market and probably get a very big payday. I think for Darcy, whom I like an awful lot, I think he's a great guy, a good goalie. It's his last best opportunity to get paid in the National Hockey League, and he must take advantage of it. I think everybody understands that because everybody, I think, is an adult in the room.
Upgrade, downgrade, or the same with Alexander Georgiev coming in from the Rangers between the pipes?
I've done a couple of games with Georgiev between the pipes for the Rangers, and I thought he was pretty good. And again, when you're supplanted by an Igor Shesterkin, who becomes one of the best goalies on planet Earth, you're probably going to be bummed about it. You know, you were the heir apparent to a Lundqvist, but I talked to some goalie people that I know, and I said, okay, give me the lowdown. And they said to me, he's going to be good. I said, well, he's 26 years old. He got stuck back behind. That mentally it can mess with, but they think his mechanics are there, and they think that things that they want to perhaps improve on with Alexander Georgiev, that he's going to take to it tremendously. So I think that they're very confident that this is a guy that can come in and win. And let's be honest about it too, Rod. I mean, this is a guy that comes in expecting to be the number one. They signed him to a new deal at 3.4 per, and that's part of the key with this Avalanche team. When you look at Darcy, there are times when he was very good. But he didn't have to be all-world all the time because the team in front of him was so good and able to put goals in. That defensive core was terrific, and all the forwards bought into the defensive side of things, and they back-checked like crazy. I mean, everybody saw how the team played. So I don't think if you're the Avalanche right now that you think you need a top 5, top 8 goalie in the NHL to win again. You need a guy who's able to make timely stops, make some key saves, but you don't have to make every save in the book. And that's exactly what Darcy Kemper was. And let's be honest about it, that's essentially what Philip Grubauer was before that, too. And then, of course, he moved on to the Seattle Kraken. So I think that's the mentality going forward. And in today's salary cap era, also think about this. The Avs have now Georgiev, and they've got Francouz for the price of one Darcy Kemper. So they've got both goalies locked up for the price or just a little bit below what Darcy Kemper is making with Washington.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Are you ready? It's finally time for your next adventure, and it starts at Capital Ford. Custom order the perfect new vehicle for you, or reserve one of the hundreds that's already built and on its way. Can't wait? Get into a pre-owned vehicle that's already on the lot and ready to rock. Plus, the American Export event is back and bigger than ever. We'll send your vehicle south, making you the most money for your trade. Guaranteed. Oh, and for a limited time, all name brand tires are employee priced. Only at Capital Ford Lincoln. Your adventure starts here.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. DDG. Always delivering the best fan experience. Find us at ddgregina.com.
Are you ready? It's finally time for your next adventure, and it starts at Capital GMC. Custom order the perfect new vehicle for you, or reserve one of the hundreds that's already built and on its way. Can't wait? Get into a GM-certified pre-owned vehicle that's on our lot and ready to rock. Plus, the American Export event is back and bigger than ever. We'll send your vehicle south, making you the most money for your trade. Guaranteed. Oh, and for a limited time, all name brand tires are employee priced. Only at Capital GMC. Your adventure starts here.
Lot of sun, smoky in the air, that's a lot of pine. Big time, big time, big time, big time.
The summer of hockey in Alberta continues, and the future of Team Canada is bright. The 2022 World Juniors return to Edmonton August 9th to 20th. Single game tickets available from $40. Buy now at hockeycanada.ca.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Hey, apologies, everybody. Our feed got cut off last break. But just before we bring in the Moose for the overtime segment for the Four Seasons Sports Palace, sports update. How many and how far will be the two big questions tonight when the All-Star Home Run Derby swings underway at Dodgers Stadium in Los Angeles? Pete Alonso, Albert Pujols, and Kyle Schwarber will be a focus of attention for fans watching the best Major League Baseball sluggers launch long balls into the L.A. night. Both Moose and I say we will be watching tonight. Will you? Bitter rivals Canada and the United States battled today in the final of the CONCACAF Women's Championship in Mexico. The two teams blazed an identical trail in reaching the final, each winning 4 games while outscoring the opposition 12-0. It's the team's first meeting since last August when Canada won 1-0 in the semis at the Tokyo Olympics. Remember that? The sex assault trial of former Vancouver Canucks forward Jake Virtanen begins today in BC Supreme Court. Virtanen was charged with 1 count of sexual assault in January following a police investigation into an incident that took place on September 2017 when he was playing for the Vancouver Canucks. And Canadian sprint star Andre DeGrasse has withdrawn from the 200 meters at the World Track and Field Championship, the event in which he won Olympic gold last summer in Tokyo. This sports update for the 2022 World Juniors. Gear up, Alberta. The World Juniors are back in Edmonton this summer, August 9th to the 20th. Single-game tickets are on sale now for as low as $40 at hockeycanada.ca. For Ballers Rec Room, your official home of Slow Pitch, open Wednesday to Sunday for the Tap, Brewhouse, and Drive-Thru Liquor Store. And for Red Bull Canada, Red Bull gives you wings. If we can bring the Moose in now. Moose, I gotta apologize. I don't know if you were watching the end of the interview with Marc Moser, but something just went blink. You know how it tends to happen?
Yeah.
You know? And kind of left Mark hanging there. And I assume the guys just went to a commercial break, and I appreciate y'all for doing that. By the way, this overtime segment for Taco Time, viewer takeover, they're not tater tots, they're Mexi fries. Can I ask you this? Because we got a lot of CFL fans watching. What will be the narrative as we move through the week? The actual games, the injury to Cody Fajardo and its severity, or this discipline situation, and awaiting a suspension, fine, that kind of thing?
I think it'll be the Duke Williams situation and monitoring that. Will we see a fine, suspension? When is that going to get announced? I think that'll be the biggest topic heading into and throughout the week. And the Fajardo news, if it comes out and it's bad and he's got to miss a little bit of time, then that'll take over the headlines when that happens. But until then, I think it's a lot about the Duke Williams situation.
By the way, when I say viewer takeover, in the chat, Danda Oilerman, that's the account, Danda Oilerman says, RP show is becoming a daily thing for me. Thank you. Then you might be interested in our poll results, which say the Edmonton Oilers are Canada's best NHL team, and it's not even close. How about that? Randy from the Peg says the RP show needs to come to the Peg for Football Friday. Then watch an undefeated team play. 1 week at a time, I guess. We're formulating our plans as we go. But on the Fajardo injury, I wanted to point this out, and I think I left viewers hanging earlier when I said I had something to say about that. I was watching the game at Shark Club Deerfoot Meadows, which is like our unofficial, what would we call it? Second home?
Yeah, it's our hangout.
Watching Touchdown Atlantic, and I'm with a couple football guys, one of which is Mike Abou-Meshrik. So when Cody Fajardo went down on his knee in the game, and he's getting his ankle twisted by Sean Oakman, the Argo D lineman, I pick up my phone to tweet, "There goes your season, Rider fans." And Abu literally grabbed my arm. He's like, whoa, he's getting up. I'm like, what? And he finished the series, if you recall. And he finished the game.
Yeah.
But Abu saved me from tweeting something that I might have regretted. But then it sounded like after the game that it blew up, flared up, or whatever. And somebody just wrote into our website, rodpedersen.com, saying that he believes that Fajardo's season is over. And if his season is over, is the Saskatchewan season over? What do you think?
Yes. My first answer would be yes. We've looked at this. Like, I get that. When you keep moving on it and you keep going, you can survive and you can roll and finish a game. But as soon as you sit and rest, the swelling starts to take over. The injury sets in a little bit more, and the healing process begins. The body starts doing those things to heal. So it makes it really tough. Cody said he was like getting close to coming back, being 100% healthy. Not coming back, but being healthy, like a week or two. This might have set that back. If his season's over, I don't know who they're going to replace him with. Matt Nichols has already said he's not coming back when he was asked by another team. I'm not sure who else is left.
I appreciate Metal Shingle Guy waiting until this particular segment to write us. He says, well, Rod, looks like Duke speaks wet when he yells. So much garbage after the whistle is hurting the Riders big time. He says, I'm confused. Did Oakman hit Cody low, and did he not give it a twist? It certainly looked that way. And he says Fajardo needs to sit. Well, I think it's going to be taken out of the Riders' hands by virtue of the injury. So we covered a lot today, and we didn't probably get into as much as Touchdown Atlantic as we can. There are a lot of Maritimers. They do watch this show on Eastlink Cable out there on Game Plus TV, as you know, specifically Wolfville, where the game was played. And a lot of them love Touchdown Atlantic. They'd love a team. We didn't get too much into whether that's ever going to happen because it doesn't look like it is. But we covered Calgary Stampede, the NHL story, CFL, little All-Star. We covered it all, Moose. You have a great 22 hours, and we'll catch you tomorrow.
Yeah, sounds great. Have a great afternoon, everybody, and great show.
We will see the rest of you at noon Eastern on Tuesday, 10 a.m. Mountain, right here on Game Plus TV.
Hot damn! Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. Bob's your uncle. Hell yes. Beautiful. Hoo-wah. Hot. Oh, good one, Rod.